Well, hello to the hobby room that a lot of you have heard me mention over the past year and a half or so. Been slowly working on getting this room ready, and it's almost ready. Right now, come in through the door there, and right here on the wall is a hanging Dremel accessory kit. I gotta admit, I kind of like it. I only just recently picked up the. Let me see if I can go ahead and magnify this a little bit. There we go. Only just recently picked up the Easy Lock for my Dremel, and I gotta admit I kind of like it. So, but anyways, nice little Dremel accessory kit. I managed to get that at a nice price. When I got it, I think I paid like $30. It was being discontinued at that time period. Anyways, backing up a little bit. Next to that is the pegboard system that I've got. Which you can see right there. I've got towels and a couple, actually four little storage bins there. One of the bins came a little bit on the busted side. I did pick up a few, or I should say a few extra pieces. Two towel holders. One, as you can see up there. The other one I'm using to go ahead and hold my spools of wire. Of course, what hobbyist would be worth much if they couldn't go ahead and see? So I've got my lighted visor there. I've got some inexpensive drill bits. Next to that, you see a whole bunch of spring clamps. But behind that is a protractor set that I picked up, which is good for going ahead and scribing lines and whatnot. Next to that is my first soldering case or kit that I picked up years and years ago from Radio Shack, of course. Gotta admit, it's a good little piece. It certainly has done its job, and I like the little tool accessory kit that came along with it, but I don't use it that much. Next to that are shrink tubes. Next to that is carpeting flock for models and whatnot. Beneath that is various sandpapers, as well as, they call it thinning brushes. To be honest with you, I use it for applying flux for soldering. Beneath that, coming over here a little bit, okay, there's a stud finder there. There's my original soldering iron to begin with, and then next to that, pin. The blue tube there is for desoldering. There's some extra cowlets and whatnot over here for the Dremel tool. And here, now behind these two tools, is the drill bits, the micro drill bits. Gotta admit, those come in handy. I'm down to my last case. I'm going to be picking up a couple more cases. They're inexpensive. They're like $3 to $5, depending on where you find them on eBay. But these little guys here were part of a Black & Decker toolkit that came out a while back that uses their cylindrical battery tubes, which I gotta admit, it does a pretty good job. Came with various different tools that you could get, including a jigsaw, light drills, screwdrivers. As you see there, there's actually two. One's kind of fallen over a little bit, which is an angled piece, and then a straight one. There beside it, you can see the gold batteries. And then beside that is a container of spring clamps, different multicolored. I've actually got another couple of cases here. Now below all this is what started off to be a table that was going to be done by putting it on top of a couple of cabinets. Now, to be honest, those cabinets were a pain in the tush. The board was heavier than could be, so I decided against that. And I found a couple of inexpensive yet very heavy-duty folding tables that I went ahead and picked up. So, but on this right now is my, and I'm going to go ahead and plug another name, I guess, but Harbor Freight 1/3 horsepower 3-gallon container air compressor, complete with the water trap on the side. Gotta admit, I like this over what I had. What I had purchased back in the 90s was this little guy down here. Nice little compressor, but it went put, 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 put. I'm sure most all of you hobbyists know what I'm talking about here. It had no tank. I was kind of glad when it went out after 15 years. And I saw that Harbor Freight had a special on this guy here, so I went ahead and took advantage of it. I think it was like $49, maybe $59. But yeah, since it's not used all the time, you know, Harbor Freight products are okay for stuff like that. If I was going to go ahead and do like Simon or some of the other people that I will not mention, because I don't want to cause any problems. If I used it, you know, if I went ahead and did this for a living, yeah, I'd get something a little bit more heavy duty. Anyways, coming along down to my table, quick little pan. So what do we have here? The table, I went ahead and I picked it up off of Amazon. It's rated for 1,000 pounds. My fat ass won't go ahead and knock this down, that's for sure. I've got a 4-foot long black and yellow power strip that I picked up at Amazon. Over here on the left hand side is my new soldering station. I gotta admit, I kind of like it. I like the fact that I can dial in the heat to go ahead and use it. Let me go ahead and bring it up here. I'm not sure if it was Papa Smurf or someone else that recommended this particular model to me, but I gotta admit, it's done well. I actually took this out when I was taking some classes out at the college where I work. I took it with me, even though they had Weller. I wanted to go ahead and perfect my usage of this particular model, so I went ahead and took it with me and would plug it in all the time. Behind that is a bottle that contains flux. I gotta admit, I've used solder that has the flux inside of it, like that little tube there. I gotta admit, didn't necessarily have the best luck with it, or had not as good of luck as I did with pure solid core, and then went ahead and brushed on the flux, which is what that container back there, the white one, is for. Literally, you just go ahead and fill it up with flux, and you flip open the lid like that, and you just pump it up and down. The little well down here fills up with the flux, and then you can go ahead and brush it down. So they actually use these same containers out at the college for doing their flux. Next up, the blue guy there is a heat gun. It does pretty good. It does a great job with the shrink tubes. Beside that, right down there, that looks like a hand grenade, is a lighter. And I was originally using that to go ahead and do my shrink tubes, but it puts out a pretty high flame, so I stopped using that in favor of the heat gun. Next to that is my constant DC power supply, which kind of took a dump. Although I did manage to go ahead and replace the power supply, and it still works. But I've seen recently better units. Simon, thank you. So I will be picking up a replacement for that guy here eventually. Next to that, my Dremel stylus. I love that tool. And next to that guy is the Tamiya, however you want to call it, hand drill, which a lot of you have seen this before. It's a little model kit that you go ahead and build. What I really like about this guy is that it is super slow RPMs in compared to the Dremel, be it the stylus or a regular Dremel. So it does not go ahead and heat up and melt the plastic. And I'm sure you can hear that speed. It's not overly fast. Whereas you go ahead and turn this guy on. And let me go ahead, turn him on low. And I'm sure you can hear the difference there. Or at least I hope you can. The stylus there is better than the regular Dremel as far as speed is concerned, but it's still a little bit too fast. I've gone ahead and put a few little black marks into styrene, if you know what I mean. Next to that is my old airbrush. I bought this little kit back in the 90s. It's the 150 IL at the time. That particular kit's no longer available. I have had to go ahead and redo the felt that was on the top there, but I've always taken good care of the unit. Underneath there, probably can't see it that well. There we go. 25th anniversary sticker that came with a lot of the Star Trek models back in the day. And that little guy there is right there. I was just using it earlier today, and I need to clean out the bottle, hence the reason for the silver colored paint. Actually, it was titanium. So, anyways, going on, I'm sure a lot of you recognize the Dremel drill press there. I like that a lot. It comes in very handy for straight drills. Beside that, or in front of that, is the Sculpt epoxy. So mix the two together, equal parts, and you've got a nice moldable piece of epoxy to go ahead and help you with making things up. Precision circle maker right there beside it, put out by X-Acto. I've had one of these in the past. I broke one, and I picked this one up quite a few years ago. At the time, it was what I was needing, but shortly thereafterwards I picked up the Dremel 400 XPR kit, which you see in the box right there. And it included a circle maker in there. So, never got a chance to open up the X-Acto again, but who knows, might end up happening. The X-Acto can be used for scribing. Of course, on top of the XPR box, which I don't have, I've only got the two pieces in there. As you can see there, there's one down there on this bottom, there's another one on the other bottom. But there's my holding hands. There is my knife kit, which I like that a lot. Plenty of blades and plenty of handles, as you can see there. As well as my old handle from the 90s, actually from the 80s. And a relatively new pair of clippers there. So, kind of what I've got here. I've got more stuff that I need to be bringing upstairs. I've got another table that'll be coming up here and kind of filling up the rest of the room. So, library, Star Trek, Star Trek, Star Trek. Yeah, a lot of Star Trek. A lot of history. My father was a major history buff. Over here, a lot of figure mugs from Star Trek. Models that go back probably 2.5 feet. Okay. Kind of got piled up because of some of the other stuff that was going on around here. But you kind of get the idea. I think that probably the best two are an old Eagle right there, and the Yamato from Star Blazers. Of course, there's many other kits. There's a bunch over here, a lot of Batman. I've got the Lincoln Futura, which, if you know your history about Batman, that was the car that was turned into the Batmobile. And then lastly, oops, hello Bailey boy, and my little cataract doggy. Lastly, in this closet here, although I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it, more models. Lost in Space, definitely a lot of Trek. Some, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some classic $6 Billion Man. There's the Star Trek Exploration set, which that was actually my first model that I ever built back in the day. So anyways, wanted to give you a quick little tour. This is Proteus. I don't know how well you can see me because I don't have any screen here. Signing off.